the mountains we've been on, this one is my favourite. When I first met Sean, it was in a pub in London, and I remember thinking that he had a really kind face and a genuine smile and really lovely blue eyes. And yeah, I can't really remember exactly how the conversation started, but we somehow ended up speaking about travel, and Sean mentioned that he'd been to Australia and I'd only recently come over from Australia. It was quite nice to speak to someone that was familiar with the area I grew up in. So we just got chatting a lot about places he'd been to in Australia, and typically I very quickly realised he'd seen more of it than I had, you know, which is quite common, I think. You don't tend to explore your hometown as much as you do foreign countries, but it was just really lovely to speak to him about, you know, the places he'd visited, and it kind of felt familiar, I guess, in a way.
But funnily enough, so I was actually leaving the next day. So I was going on holiday for 3 weeks. It's like Guatemala and Belize, which was just sort of post-exam kind of holiday for me at the time. But yeah, met Audrey and just chatting most of the night really, and yeah, it was just really easygoing, really relaxed. One of those sort of things where you kind of feel like you've known them for a long time already, even though you just met. So yeah, even though I was sort of leaving the next day, we ended up staying in touch the whole trip, the whole time that I was away. So yeah, it was like, for me anyway, it kind of felt though, even though we'd met once, even over the course of the next sort of couple of weeks while I was away, we obviously got to know each other much better, even though it was by sort of text message basically. So when we came to meet the second time, it was sort of like already on our like 10th date or something, because just we knew each other kind of really well, even though it was by text message. That was really made it much easier, and I think it made the relationship sort of develop much more quickly and much more easily than maybe it would for other people. But yeah, I remember thinking, like, it was probably about a week into my trip, I met this couple from the States. Well, actually, so the husband was Canadian and the wife was from New York, but they lived in New York together. And they were on their honeymoon in Belize. And I sort of just got to know them quite well. We were staying in the same place. And I was just telling them about Audrey, and I kind of was already at that point, I was like, oh, like this could be really special. So I was kind of like just talking to them about her, and I was kind of almost like asking, like, is this normal? Like, this seems a bit weird. Like, how to like already feel like this about someone, even though I'd only met her once and then got to know her over the course of the week via text message. But yeah, I think I knew pretty quickly that it was gonna be pretty amazing.
Sean then said that he was actually going overseas to do some travelling in Central America, and that he'd like to see me when he came back. And I didn't think much of it. I thought, oh yeah, sure, whatever, like, he's going travelling, he does all this travelling by himself. Like, I'd never even thought about travelling on my own kind of thing. And I just thought, oh yeah, sure, whatever, you go on holiday, maybe I'll hear from him, maybe I won't. I wasn't too, I guess, too expectant. It just felt very natural and kind of like, oh yeah. But then Sean is very chilled out, so yeah, and he surprisingly kept in touch with me whilst he was away. And by the time he came back, I remember thinking I couldn't wait to actually see him again. So we sort of had our first like official date after that, but we kind of felt like we'd known each other a little bit already, so it was odd. And it was Christmas time, so everything in London's a bit magical then. You've got like the Christmas markets on, and we were along the river, along the Thames. I think we stopped at some like Christmas markets, had some mulled wine, and it's all very cliched and romantic, and just that magical Christmassy kind of feel. And then he left me again for another epic trip to Argentina and Chile to go and climb this huge mountain in, I don't know if it's Argentina or Chile, Aconcagua, anyway, huge mountain. And I remember him telling me about this mountain that he's going to climb, and I thought, oh okay, yeah, he's going to climb some mountain, that's great. And then I was at his house, and he had like the kit delivered for this trip, and it came from like a company that specializes in expeditions and stuff, and it was literally like this huge box, and it was full of like dehydrated food and like all these things that you would only take if you were going out like on some epic camping trip. I just thought, what is this mountain that he's going on like?
And I was there for like a month. So I guess in like the first 2 or 3 months of our relationship, I'd actually only known her for 2 weeks. So yeah, pretty ridiculous. And then the Argentina trip was a lot more difficult because, you know, we're on a mountain, so you know, phones obviously don't work. But I managed to, there was a few very rich people on the trip, and one of them kindly lent me his sat phone, which they cost an absolute bomb. So I think it was the day before Summit Day, and I was having a bit of a moment. I was kind of not feeling that well. So I ended up calling Audrey, and then I called my parents afterwards. I think, yeah, it was a bit of a surprise to her, for me to, you know, call her. She was like, oh, I'm not going to hear her for a month, but yeah, but that kind of almost made it worse, because I was like, oh, I want to go home now, rather than focusing on the job at hand, if you like. So maybe I shouldn't have done that, but it was, but I really wanted to, if you know what I mean.
I clearly had no idea. It was obviously a lot more full on than I thought it would be. And he explained that he would be completely out of touch, that there might be satellite phone, maybe not, probably won't hear from him for like 3 weeks, and it's fairly dangerous. And I don't know, the more I kind of like thought about this trip that he was going on, the more I started thinking, I just don't know if I'm cut out to be with such a like adventurous person. Like if he's going on all these epic expeditions up some like nearly 7,000 meter mountains, it's like Everest is only like an extra 2 off that. So it just seemed a bit, whoa, okay. And actually I remember speaking to a friend of mine and telling her about Sean, that I just met him and what I thought of him, and I said, I just don't know if I'm cut out for being like, you know, with someone that's so adventurous. And she's like, don't worry, you'll calm him down off the mountain, you know. when you fall in love, you'll calm him down. But he didn't calm me down. He took me up with him, you know. And now we're getting married on top of the mountain. So it's just perfect.
Sean and Audrey, marriage is a commitment to life, to the best that two people can find and bring out in each other. It is a gift from God and offers opportunities for sharing and growth that no other relationship can equal. It is a physical and emotional joining that is promised for a lifetime. Sean and Audrey, from the first day you met, you both knew that you had met someone very special. Every experience that you've had over the past few years, everything that you've done together and everything that you have learned about each other has brought you to this moment right now. Today you are taking into your care and keeping the happiness of the one person in all the world whom you love with all your heart.
Audrey, you make me so happy. I feel so grateful to have you in my life, the way you love and support me, and I'm honoured to take you as my wife, and I can't wait for more adventures together as we begin our marriage today. I promise to encourage and inspire you, to celebrate with you all the joys of life and comfort you in times of sorrow, to cherish and support you with compassion and understanding in sickness and in health, for better or worse all the days of my life.
Sean, I'm so blessed to have you in my life. I treasure the relationship we have built together. I love you, not only for who you are, but for who I am with you. You are patient, kind, positive, and encouraging, loving what I know of you and trusting what I do not. Today I take you as my husband and give myself to you in marriage. I promise to encourage and inspire you, to celebrate with you in the joys of life, and to comfort you in times of sorrow, to cherish and support you with compassion and understanding, in sickness and in health, for better or for worse, all the days of my life.
Give her a hug, Sean.
I think what I like best about Sean is that he's patient, and he's very tolerable of where I'm at. You know, if I'm hangry, which I get often, you know, he doesn't lose his patience with me. It's like, okay, we've got to get you food, like, and that becomes his number one priority. And when we landed in Queenstown, it was horrific. Okay, and I thought I was going to be sick. The turbulence was insane. I mean, I can't tell you how many planes I've been on, countless. Together alone in the last 5 years, we've been to 32 countries. We've done a lot of traveling, and that plane trip into Queenstown was absolutely horrific. And I just had my head in Sean's lap, and I was trying not to throw up. And he just had his hand on my hair and was sort of like holding me together, and I just thought, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And when we came off the plane, I said, weren't you scared? Like, well, you seemed fine. He said, I couldn't be stressed out because you were so stressed out, so I had to be okay for you. And he said, I wasn't thinking about the plane landing because I was more concerned about you. And I was just like, no, that's really sweet. That's why I love you, you know. He was more worried about me being sick and me not being able to keep it together than he was about us potentially falling out of the sky. Like, so, because I was like, how are you not freaking out? That was the worst landing I've ever had, you know. And he's like, I was more worried about you. I wasn't thinking about the plane. So when I'm in need of something, you know, he's there like 100%. So yeah, I don't know. That's just one example that comes to mind, but he's just so patient with me, and yeah. I don't believe in fate at all. I believe in God, and I believe that His plans for us are bigger than the plans that we have for ourselves. And I believe that He has a plan for my life and Sean's life, and that is beyond anything that I could possibly imagine. If I was to look back now and think, you know, 5 years ago before I met Sean, would I be here talking to you? And having gone through all the things we have and on all the epic adventures we've had, and I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, I couldn't make something like that up. My dreams are like so far below this kind of, you know, I don't think I could come up with something like this. I think I'm just so blessed that God knows me better than I know myself, you know, but I think that God knows what I need more than I know what I want. And every day I think, you know, I'm just so blessed because Sean came into my life, and it's just far beyond anything I could have possibly imagined, you know. I almost think I don't deserve it sometimes.